That's the last time that antenna mount will be used. That's coming down today, and I am removing that mount. We're gonna put up a new setup. The poor 2-element Yagi is gonna go back in storage again. Well, look at that. There's 2 pipes coming out the front wall of my garage. That's some of that Schedule 80 pipe. Whew, that sucked putting those up in the attic. There's truss work up there. I'll show you later. And wow, was it difficult to get those up there. Well, it's done in here. Well, except for running the coax and the rotor cable. We zoom in on that. I added the second 2x4. It goes all the way up to the top of the truss. Covers the 2x4 that was on the truss there and goes right down to the wall plate. I've got it screwed into the wall plate down there, all the way into that stud and up into the rafters. So I could add a second bracket. I don't really want to climb all the way over there again. I don't know if we can see that. There's 2 brackets now, a bracket on each stud. Let me see if we can zoom in. Figures that one. There's a big bracket hiding the little one. Not sure if that can see it or not. Oh yeah, sure it can. So we should be good to hold the weight. These pipes were 10.5 feet long. It was one of the 21-foot long Schedule 80 steel pipes that I had picked up recently. I cut it in half, drilled some holes in the wall, and muscled them up here. I had to go in that direction with them first and fight around all the truss work and then send them over this way. But I'm pretty pleased with the way it came out. I'm attached to what do you got? 5 trusses plus the extra 2x4 that I added in. It'll never be more than that down and never more than that over. It'll stay right against the angle. And that angle will keep us where we need to be so we don't get stuck under the eaves or walk right off the pole. I'm done here. Alright, well, a lot has happened since the camera was on last. Unfortunately, I lost my camera operator. Barbara had to go to work. But we saw how this plate moves hinges on the pole. It's an old Mast plate from an old Mako beam. I added a couple of pieces of angle up here. These are secured right to it. Those don't move. And the Mast plate rides right against the edge of those angles and keeps the mast right where it needs to be. And the plate is always right against those, no matter which direction the mast is folded over in. I added on, I don't know if you can tell what this is. This is an old wall mount for a mast. I reshaped it a bit and drilled a couple of holes in that plate, bolted it right there, gave it a little standoff, put a bolt with a aluminum sleeve so it's smooth so I don't cut that strap. And that strap is just for some extra support so that the pole doesn't flex too much in the middle. We currently have a Mako V58 up there, but that's not staying. That's coming down. That's just temporary. That antenna is much taller than what's going to be on here. When I stood it up way over there, there's a tree branch right there, directly right in the center of your screen. That tree branch was a little annoying to me. When the beam is on here, the beam will clear that without any issue. But this antenna, being that it's over 20 feet tall, it was hitting that branch. You'll see that in a minute when I play that clip of when I stood this up. But so easy. I'm one-handed. This because of the bottom half of the mast, we have about 12.5 feet to this pivot. And then there's 8.5 feet of pipe above it. So we have this Schedule 80 pipe. There's a lot of weight below the hinge and not as much above. So the mast itself, the bottom half is heavier than the top half. It's the exact same length to the top of that mast coming out of the rotor. It's 12.5 feet up to the antenna. But that 4-foot mast out of the rotor is made out of aluminum, so there's really no weight to it. We do have the 10 pounds or so, 8-10 pounds of rotor. But we're also going to have coax cables and a rotor cable that will also be adding weight to the top half. And the antenna that I'm going to be putting on here, I believe, weighs 22 pounds. This has been a hell of a project. This is 4 days in the making. Down here on the bottom, you can see we have 2 paracords on here. We'll start with this one. This one goes up, and it goes up, probably about 4.5 feet or so above the hinge point. This one is for when there is no antenna on the mast. It has to be pulled down in order to get it down to the bottom of the rake board there. So this one stays just for when there's no antenna. When there is an antenna up there, it's heavy enough that it'll come down on its own, which is where this one comes in. This one, because this end of the pipe ends up in the air when the antenna is down. So this one holds the mast from, well, keeps the antenna from hitting the ground. And I have hooks on both of them. The straps that I used for the extra bracing, I cut the hooks off so that I could mount that strap flat to the pipe. And I reused the hooks at the bottom of the paracord. That way I can just hook it on. I'm probably going to hook the mast this end up to the hitch on that tractor sitting right there. It's there, I might as well use it. And the other one, if I need it, which I'll only need it when I take that antenna back off of there, because then the top half will be lighter again. So I'll just hook it up to that spare wheel I have sitting there. All right, let me show you the clip I have of when I stood this up. Now, remember what I told you. I had to fight around that tree branch a little. I may end up lassoing that branch and hanging off of it until it breaks off. There's just one branch that's in the way. I don't think the beam will hit it, though. I think the beam will clear it. We'll find out, won't we? All right, let me show you that clip of this thing hinging over, or actually hinging up, because it starts out with the antenna laying over. Might be wondering what made me change my mind about putting the 2 Mako V5/8s up on the front of the building. Now remember, I had bought those 2 Schedule 80 poles to put the 2 Makos on, but, well, something happened the other day that made me change my mind. Well, look what we got. Look at that, a brand new Mako box. Fuck. It's a 6-element Comet. Alright guys, I'm pretty sure you know what the next video is going to be. It'll be putting this thing together. Getting it all tuned and up in the air. That's what this whole mount was made for. This antenna will lay over and the boom will be about a foot beyond the edge of my roof. I've been told by many people that the vertical is very difficult to tune in. So I wanted this on a setup that was easy to get to the gamma match. All right, guys. I'll catch you next time. 73s.